Hey guys, happy Friday. I hope you have enjoyed our Live Simply and Breathe group so far. It's been a really wonderful week. I know that I personally have gotten so much out of this, and it's an area of my life that I really, really need to give some time and attention to. So I'm so appreciative to the other coaches in here that posted so many great tips and ways to kind of just ease into this. And again, a huge thanks to Dr. Janae Barahona, who joined us the other day and really just kind of brought it. I mean, I can't tell you, like, when I think about this stuff, I feel like I have something on my chest. Like, the weight of the stress is real and tangible because I, especially over the course of the last 8 or 9 months, feel like I'm just drowning in stuff and clutter and chaos, and it's really, really starting to get to me. So I am pledging that I am going to start trying to adopt some of these practices, and I'm hopeful now, where at the beginning of the week I felt like it was completely impossible. I'm hopeful that I can make some headway. So I'm here to talk to you today all about how to simplify your life as a parent when it comes to helping your kids make choices and providing options. And I am not an expert on this. However, I do feel like it is somewhat a strength of mine. I know that I just said I'm disorganized in many areas of my life, but when it comes to simplifying the lives, my children's lives and my life, by just keeping it easy, I feel like it's an area that I really have some strength and some experience in. And I think it started actually back to when we had Genevieve and we registered for, showers. I can remember my girlfriend saying constantly, like, you have nothing on your baby registry. And I didn't know the gender of any of my kids. So I really just registered for the basics. I got overwhelmed by like all of the stuff when I went into Buy Buy Baby. When I went into any baby store, I would just be like, I don't know where to go. I'm just going to get the bare necessities. And it's kind of worked for us as we have grown our family. I had, like Margot in here, I had 4 kids in 4 years. So life is really, really chaotic. And I didn't really think about a lot of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you. It's just how I survived. And in talking with friends, and then when people ask me, any of my tips to saving time or to not feeling like I'm constantly drowning, when it comes to the kids, I think that much of it has to do with being very in tune with the choices that we make throughout the day. And I'm going to give you 4 areas. Choose one of these today to kind of work on if you can. Perhaps it's not applicable today, but I'm sure one of these will come into play over the next couple days because it is a holiday weekend for many people with the Easter holiday. And my first area is to simplify choices when it comes to packing. My mom probably thinks I'm a mean mom because I don't let my kids pack toys when we go anywhere. Like, they don't need a bag of toys in the car. They don't need to bring their entire bed with them to sleep. They're allowed to bring one thing. So I'm not sure what your typical plan is, but kids are resilient. And even if you have a little one that's strong-willed, likes to bring certain things, start this and say, hey, we're going to do something new this time. You can model it and allow them to bring one thing with them, one book, perhaps one lovey, one blankie, whatever that is. They can bring one thing with them. It really makes your life so much easier on both ends when you're trying to load the car and you're trying to unload the car there and then pack to come home and unload when you get home. It just saves us a lot of time and energy and keeps everybody even keeled. And my kids are good about it. They know that they can bring one thing. That is not to say that there hasn't been moments where they throw a fit and they want something else. But you know what? they're going to get over it. And if you can make it through those first couple instances when perhaps they get upset, it's going to be their new normal, and it's going to save you so much time and energy. Okay. My next tip is when it comes to meals. I am not a short order cook. I make one thing for everybody for lunch. I make one thing for everybody for dinner. The exception is if I'm doing like the 21-day cleanse that I've done in the past, I don't make them eat what I'm eating then. But the rest of the time, we eat as a family. And I realize that this is a more difficult behavior or habit to put into practice if you have been doing things differently. But guys, you're in charge, and you get to be the deciding factor of what you're having for dinner and how your family eats. Like I said, I know it's a hard habit to break, but my goodness almighty, it's going to save you so much of your patience when it's dinner time or it's lunchtime and you're not having to make several different meals to accommodate everybody. Ways to do that is to talk about, it's so important that we eat as a family, and we're a family, and we're all eating this together. I'm not a clean plate club person, but I do make them take several bites and try it. And if they don't like it, then they don't have to have anything else. And if they're hungry, they have to eat it. And that might, again, sound kind of harsh and rigid, but I think I have good eaters because we've done this. So if there's a way that you can start scaling back or limiting choices, maybe you don't make one kid a pizza, one kid a hot dog, one kid cream cheese bagel, and you have something else. Like, give them perhaps 2 options for lunch, and that's a way to start making a difference. And then maybe what you're all eating for dinner, like if we're having broccoli and steamed vegetables and chicken, I'll cut their chicken up and dice it and say, hey, you guys are having skinless nuggets, or you guys are having nuggets, and give them some honey to dip it in. So there's ways to kind of modify what you're serving that makes it look a little bit more kid friendly, without like getting into a huge discourse about why they have to eat that. If you have little ones, start this as soon as possible. Okay. My next tip is, what did I write down? Oh, simplify your routines. Okay. We don't spend an hour at bedtime or 30 minutes at bedtime. Once I get them upstairs and it's time for bed, we have very quick bedtime routines. And this is a way to simplify bedtime regardless of where you are. I know that I have, my sisters have had a hard time getting kids to go to sleep at different locations. Maybe they're staying at a grandparent's house or on vacation, because when there's an intricate bedtime routine, the kids are going to be much less likely to calm down and to kind of get into their nighttime, know that it's bedtime. So think about what your bedtime routine is, or your nap time routine for your child, and think of, are there areas that you can eliminate? Are there possibly things and actions that you're doing that maybe are more purposeful for you? Extra cuddles, 5 books instead of 1 book, 5 songs instead of 1 song. And I'm not saying, I'm by no means like this heartless mom. It's like, get in bed, it's time, bye. But again, simplifying the choices. They can choose a book. You can sing them a song. Okay. Say prayers, lights out, lay down. Anything you can do to decrease the time that you are spending at nap time or bedtime, or for the matter, any routine. I challenge you to think of routines that take you a really long time. Maybe that's getting up and going in the morning. And think about where you can take steps to get that routine a little bit more concise. Or maybe you don't have a routine. Like the mornings that we don't follow a plan to get out of the door for school, we are absolutely late. Like it's a no-brainer. We are going to be late. But when we follow a simple routine, and it always starts with me being the one to put that into effect, we are able to get out the door in a much calmer and more timely manner. So when you maybe take a step back and look at where you have routines that are maybe not time effective and not saving you any time, and you feel totally spent after doing it, and see where you can take some steps out to simplify. Think about areas that just feel like total chaos, and think about some steps you can integrate in order to make that process run more smoothly, okay? And then my last share here is learning to say no to things. And this is a hard one because I'm a yes person. I like to say yes, that I can say be on, you know, the PTA and the homeroom mom and the assistant coach and help with this and help with that. And we can go to 17 birthday parties in one weekend. And all of this stuff and all of the pressure that we feel like we have to do, it's really eye-opening to step back and realize that you don't have to say yes to everything. You know, think about and prioritize how you want to spend your time. If family time is at the top of your priority list, yet you are making choices that are making it impossible for you all to spend time as a family, that action is not in line with your vision. Think about areas that maybe you can do one thing really, really well instead of doing 10 things kind of crappy, okay? So finding areas and ways to relax on all of the activities, pick a couple that are really meaningful, and maybe that's something that you and your family choose together, and stick to that, and don't feel like you have to be in all places at all moments. It burns us out. It makes us short-tempered and not enjoy our time. And guys, there's just not enough time to not enjoy the time that we're given, okay? So those are my tips in ways to simplify your routine and choices, and I hope that they're helpful. I would love to hear in the comments something that spoke to you or the area that you plan to put some of these into practice over the weekend. Okay, see ya.